Hello, Mats Lundqvist here. I'm professor in entrepreneurship at Chalmers University of Technology in Gothenburg, Western Sweden. I would have loved to have been at this jubilee, but I'm so proud to be here instead on video link. And I will show you some of the life I've had during the pandemic. It's been pretty okay. I'm actually out in my summer cottage just by the Swedish Ocean, and I will show you some scenery from that while reflecting on entrepreneurship in Sweden, reflecting on it at Chalmers, and eventually giving my very sincere warm greetings for the jubilee of QREC. Alright, where do my thoughts go as a start? Well, behind me soon you will see a very special Swedish color. So some of you who have been in Sweden, you have probably seen that many houses are painted exactly like our cottages. It's called the Falu red color, and it's derived as a side product from our Falu copper mine in the middle of Sweden. And the whole Swedish industrial and entrepreneurial history basically started with this copper mine. It's more than 1,000 years old, but in the 1500s and 1600s it became the place where our king and our country was able to grow. So this color is now on almost every Swedish house because it's still a very practical, nice copper-based color, the Swedish red color on our house. If we go a little bit more here, you can also see how I enjoy my zooming a lot. I sit in the sofa in here and then I look out over the ocean all the time. So sometimes I have had some difficulties concentrating because there might be a nice boat or something or some birds flying, but this has been my year. Let's walk down and enjoy the water now, okay? Alright, welcome to the Swedish west coast. We are right now zooming in on the Gothenburg harbor approach. You might be able to spot a few big ships at the horizon and also some islands, and that's the beautiful Gothenburg archipelago. So a few words about Gothenburg. First of all, we actually celebrated 400 years yesterday. So that's fantastic, I think. The second thing that many know is that it's really a harbor port. It's the biggest trade and harbor port in Scandinavia and even Northern Europe. So we've done a lot of trading, and the most famous trading was with the East India companies back in the 1700s. So what we learned back then was that we could trade with China and Canton, which brings me close to where you are, even though not close enough, but at least much closer. So our donor and founder, William Chalmers, actually worked for the East India Company, which meant that he spent most of his life in Southeast Asia, in Canton. And when he came back without kids, he donated to what now is Chalmers, soon a 200-year-old university of technology. So we're a city of trade. We're also, since the late 1800s, very parallel to Japan, also a city of industry. And one of the stories we have is that it started with textile industry, with a lot of machineries being pulled and stuff. And from that, SKF, our roller bearing international company, actually was spun off. And a few decades later, in the late 20s, some persons at SKF, they spun off what is now Volvo. And I think you all have heard about Volvo. So you can see how our industrial late development has continued, and to leapfrog into the last 25 years that I've been into this ecosystem of ours. We started our school in 97, so we're celebrating quarter of a century this next year. So we did that. Why? Because we felt that you need to have entrepreneurial skills and talent to tap in to new knowledge. Basically the way the persons who worked at SKF tapped in to knowledge and then wanted to make a car company. And we've been doing the same thing. We tap in actually to Volvo, to SKF, to our research at Chalmers, to our medical school, Sahlgrenska, and other places. And then we assume that many of these ideas need a driving force from our students to become realized. And often it's not a car then, or it's not a roller bearing, it's two totally new directions that big firms are not interested in going. So that's where we have our startups generated. Now, since almost 10 years, I think, we've had a partnership and a fantastic relationship with you guys at QREC. I have been 3 times because of you in Japan, and my dear colleague Karen Williams Middleton and we were there for a full week in Kyushu in 2016, where we were able to connect with students from all over Asia. Fantastic. We did not know how well we would actually be able to communicate with one another, but I felt instantly connected with the QREC environment and with the students, and in particular with the faculty at QREC. So Professor Tanaka, Professor Igarashi, and all the rest of you, great job putting your harbor town, just like Gothenburg, on the Japanese but also Southeast Asian or the Asian map, where I am sure you can make a difference. So I've come to the conclusion after many years of fantastic partnership with QREC that the way you do entrepreneurship and the way we do entrepreneurship training has a lot of similarities. It's truly team-based in both cases. You are unafraid of connecting with technology and new interesting solutions, but you're also very keen on having your teams to create value around these solutions, value that otherwise might not have been created by anyone. And that's also why education is so useful. It can be hands-on and result sometimes even in real companies or real innovations. So that we share this approach, and at Chalmers now we are proud to have broadened our approach. We have our master program, our Chalmers School of Entrepreneurship, started in '97 at the core, but increasingly we are having maker spaces and having other professors letting their students go into and create value through testing technologies such as into sports. We have an area called sports technology, just as one example. Anyhow, back to where I am. This is where you take a leap, right? It's called the springboard. We use that word a lot in entrepreneurship. We should springboard our ideas into the future. I actually am very fine just springboarding into the water every morning to get my morning swim, and I am very happy to have that. Today I would have loved to swim all the way to Kyushu and to Fukuoka, but I realized that it might be slightly too long. So I will send this big congratulations and a big hooray to QREC and for 10 more exciting years to come. So hope to see you in real life soon, and bye-bye from the West Coast, 30 minutes south of Gothenburg in Sweden. Over and out. Good luck.